Could Argentina be banned from the World Cup? Following the 2026 World Cup final, FIFA opened an investigation into the disorder that followed Argentina's defeat to Spain. Players and members of the coaching staff became involved in confrontations after the final whistle, and FIFA appointed a disciplinary and ethics prosecutor to investigate what happened. This was not the only controversy involving Argentina during the tournament. After defeating England in the semi-final, Argentine players were photographed holding a banner declaring that the Falkland Islands, known in Argentina as the Malvinas, belonged to Argentina. The British government called on FIFA to investigate, arguing that the banner represented a political statement. FIFA's rules restrict political and ideological messages connected with its matches and competitions. These incidents have led to dramatic headlines and an obvious question. Could FIFA respond by banning Argentina from the next World Cup? The short answer is yes. FIFA does possess the power to prevent a nation's team from competing internationally, but that does not mean Argentina is likely to be removed from the 2030 World Cup. To understand why, we need to separate several very different forms of punishment. A player can be suspended, a coach can be banned, a football association can be fined, a team can be ordered to play behind closed doors, and, in the most serious circumstances, an entire national football association can be suspended. Those punishments are not interchangeable. An investigation into the behaviour of several players does not automatically become a case against an entire country. And despite the language used in many headlines, FIFA does not technically suspend a sovereign nation. It suspends the country's recognised football association. In Argentina's case, that association is the Argentine Football Association. If FIFA suspended it, Argentina's national teams and affiliated clubs could be prevented from participating in international competitions. But that is one of the most serious powers available to football's governing body. It is not FIFA's normal response to a post-match confrontation or an inappropriate banner. FIFA's disciplinary committee can impose sanctions on member associations, clubs, players, coaches, and other officials. However, the power to suspend or expel an entire FIFA member is reserved for FIFA's senior governing bodies. This creates several levels of punishment. At the lower end, FIFA can issue a warning or impose a fine. It can suspend individual players for one match, several matches, or a much longer period. Officials can be banned from football-related activity. Associations can be ordered to organise matches with fewer spectators, behind closed doors, or at a neutral venue. FIFA can also impose forfeits, points deductions, and exclusion from particular competitions where the relevant rules allow it. The complete suspension of a member association goes much further. When an association is suspended, it loses its FIFA membership rights for the duration of that suspension. Its national teams and affiliated clubs can become ineligible to play in international competitions. Other FIFA members may also be prohibited from maintaining official sporting contact with it. FIFA has used this power before. In 2018, the Sierra Leone Football Association was suspended following government interference in the running of the organisation. In 2021, the football associations of Chad and Pakistan were suspended in separate governance disputes. In Chad, government authorities had removed the association's powers, established a committee to run football, and taken control of its premises. In 2022, FIFA suspended the All India Football Federation because of what it described as undue influence from third parties. The suspension was serious enough to place India's hosting of the Under-17s Women's World Cup in doubt until the dispute was resolved and the suspension lifted. These cases reveal the circumstances in which FIFA usually suspends an entire association. They generally involve government interference, third parties taking control, serious failures of governance, or an association repeatedly refusing to comply with FIFA's requirements. That is very different from punishing players for fighting after a match. It is also different from fining an association because its players or supporters displayed an unauthorised political message. The crucial distinction is between misconduct committed by individuals and a fundamental breakdown in the relationship between FIFA and the national association itself. Argentina is not merely hoping to qualify for the 2030 World Cup. It's already guaranteed a place. The main tournament will be hosted by Morocco, Portugal and Spain, with centenary matches also taking place in Argentina, Paraguay and Uruguay. FIFA has confirmed that all 6 host and centenary host nations will qualify automatically. So, does automatic qualification protect Argentina from punishment? No. Automatic qualification means Argentina does not need to earn its place through the South American qualifying competition. It does not place the Argentine Football Association above FIFA's statutes or disciplinary rules. If the association was suspended when the World Cup took place, Argentina could not simply rely on its status as a host to participate. A suspension would take priority over its automatic place. None of these outcomes would necessarily threaten Argentina's place at the next World Cup. FIFA regularly punishes individuals and football associations without suspending the association's entire membership. For example, in March 2026, FIFA fined the Israel Football Association and ordered it to implement a prevention plan after finding breaches of its disciplinary obligations. The association itself was not suspended from FIFA. That distinction matters. A football association can be responsible for misconduct and still remain a fully functioning FIFA member. A fine may punish it financially, a warning may place it under greater scrutiny, a stadium sanction may punish it competitively, individual bans may remove players or officials from future matches, but suspending the entire association would affect every level of Argentine football. It could affect the men's national team, the women's national team, youth teams, and Argentine clubs competing internationally. That would be an extraordinary response to incidents involving a limited group of players and staff. It would also create enormous organisational problems for the 2030 tournament because Argentina is due to stage one of the centenary matches. FIFA has the legal and sporting power to impose serious punishment, but having the power to do something does not mean that using it would be proportionate. So, can FIFA ban Argentina from the World Cup? Technically, yes. FIFA could suspend the Argentine Football Association. If that suspension remained in place during a World Cup, Argentina's national team would not be allowed to participate, regardless of its automatic qualification as a host. But based on the information currently available, that is not the most likely outcome. FIFA is investigating the conduct surrounding the World Cup final and the political banner displayed after the semi-final. The individuals involved could face suspensions. The Argentine Football Association could receive a fine, a warning, or another disciplinary sanction. Complete association suspensions have usually been reserved for much more serious governance crises. They've been used when governments or third parties have taken control of football associations, when associations have lost their independence, or when they've refused to comply with FIFA's requirements. Argentina's case, at least at present, appears to concern misconduct within and around particular matches. That makes individual punishment and association level fines far more plausible than removing an entire country from the World Cup. There's also a wider issue. FIFA presents itself as an organisation that keeps football politically neutral and applies its rules consistently. Yet every major disciplinary decision raises questions about proportionality. When should players be punished? When should the associations be held responsible? And when does misconduct become serious enough to affect millions of supporters and every team connected to a country? FIFA can ban a country's football association. It has done so before. But complete suspension is football's equivalent of the nuclear option. It does not merely punish the people directly responsible, it punishes every national team, every international club, and every supporter represented by that association. The headline asks whether Argentina could be banned. The more important question is whether the present allegations are serious enough to justify a punishment of that scale. On the evidence available so far, the answer is probably no. Argentina may face sanctions. Players and officials may be banned. The Football Association may be fined. But exclusion from the 2030 World Cup would require FIFA to take an exceptional step, with consequences reaching far beyond the incidents that triggered the investigation. If you found this explanation useful, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the Nelson Brief. Also, let me know in the comments what subject you'd like me to cover next. This has been the Nelson Brief, the context behind the story.